Hello everyone. So today we will start from good morning. So today we will start 231 onwards. Okay. We were dealing with the mental diseases up to 230. Before that, one-sided diseases we have discussed. So these are the specific diseases Hahnemann have discussed, which we encountered in our practice. So 231 onwards, there is a discussion on intermittent diseases. So what is intermittent diseases have been discussed, and what are different kinds of intermittent fever. Okay, first intermittent diseases, then different kinds of alternating diseases and intermittent fevers, and then different kinds of intermittent fevers and their treatment have been discussed. Remember, all these diseases which have been discussed, Hahnemann is telling that these are a bit difficult to cure. Okay, so 231 in Kent last chapter, if you will see the difficult and incurable cases, Kent there also mentioning the alternating diseases. Alternating diseases may be alternating with other symptoms, in different season. That in summer patient is suffering from skin eruption, and in winter patient is suffering from asthma, or vice versa. So these are, there is a long gap of time, a long time period between these two complaints, but they are alternating with each other, like rheumatism in winter and eruption, gastralgia in summer, or skin eruption in summer, or vice versa. So these are also alternating diseases, but a long time period is there. A long time gap is there in between two complaints, which is deceiving the physician to consider the whole of the totality. That is why this is becoming difficult to cure. Okay, you are in summer, you are making a picture in summer, you are making a picture of skin eruption or other complaint, and patient is coming in winter and you are making up a picture of that present complaint, that is maybe rheumatism, maybe asthma, like that. So half picture, on half totality you are prescribing the medicine, and that is making the cure difficult of such diseases. So during case taking, be sure of finding such an alternating symptom. If you are digging a bit your patient, you will get these type of alternating symptoms. Okay, and these type of alternating symptoms, if you are getting, are very much reliable in practice to prescribe upon. In repertory also you will get alternating with. Okay, this may be alternating within a short period of time, or there may be a long time gap between these two symptoms. Okay, so you have to be very sure of your case taking to don't miss these kind of alternating symptoms, otherwise the case will become more difficult to cure. Now 231, aphorism number 231, the intermittent disease deserve a special consideration, as well as those recur at certain period, like the great number of intermittent fever and apparently non-febrile affections that recur at intervals, like intermittent fevers. Okay, as also those in which certain morbid state alternate at certain interval with morbid state of different kind. So here alternating disease have been discussed. Actually intermittent disease and alternating disease are not different. First of all, intermittent diseases, underline intermittent diseases deserve special consideration, as well as those recur at certain period. Now there is a bracket. Here in the bracket you will read like the great number of intermittent fevers, underlying intermittent fevers and non-febrile affections, underlying non-febrile affections, underlying at intervals, underlying at interval. Before that, underline certain periods, the second line. Okay, as now, as also those in certain morbid state, underline certain morbid state, now alternate at uncertain interval. Certain morbid state, alternate at uncertain interval. Okay, uncertain interval. Underline this. Now 232. These later alternating diseases. Okay, underline. These later alternating diseases, underline, are very numerous, but all belong to class of chronic disease. Underline this. Class of chronic disease are generally manifestation of developed SORA. Underline developed SORA alone. Underline developed SORA and seldom with, underline, complicated with syphilitic. Complicated with syphilitic. That is why Kent is saying that alternating diseases are difficult to cure. Okay, because it is a mixed miasmatic disease, SORA and syphilis. Now, intermittent diseases is one of the characteristics of intermittent diseases that they are recurring at certain interval, a certain time period. But in alternating diseases, the certain kind of morbid character is alternating with other kind of morbid character at uncertain interval. Like you must have heard headache alternating with lumbago. When the headache will come, we don't know. When the lumbago will come, we don't know. But these are two different kind of pathologies, two different kind of morbid affections which are alternating with each other. Okay, so this is alternating disease. This is alternating disease. Okay, intermittent disease again have been divided into febrile and non-febrile affections. Okay, febrile and non-febrile affection. What is the characteristics of intermittent disease? What was the characteristics of intermittent disease? Characteristics of intermittent disease was they were recurring at certain interval. Okay, they were recurring at certain interval. If there is a fixed time period. Now here in alternating disease, they are recurring at uncertain interval. When the headache will come, we don't know. When the lumbago will come, we don't know. When the rheumatism will come, we don't know. When the gastralgia will come, we don't know. Headache alternating with lumbago, rheumatism alternating with gastralgia. First is allo, second is calibi. Okay. Now read the footnote. Read the footnote. There is a footnote. 2 or 3 states may alternate with each other. Thus, for instance, in case of double alternating disease, underline this, certain pain may persistently in legs and etc. immediately on disappearance of the kind of ophthalmia, which later again appears as soon as the pain in the limbs has gone off for the time. Okay, this is number one example. Organon examiners will always be happy if he is able to you are able to give the examples from text. Okay, so try to learn these examples. Ophthalmia. Okay, now convulsion and spasm may alternate immediately with any other affections of the body or some part of it. Underline this. Convulsion and spasm may alternate immediately with any other affection of the body or some part of it. This is double alternating disease. Two kind. Two kind of morbid affections are there. Now, in cases of threefold alternating disease, underline this, threefold. This has been questions in your UPSC examination. What are threefold alternating diseases? Okay. In a common indisposition, period of apparent increase of health and unusual exaltation of the corporeal and mental powers may occur, after which, and quite unexpectedly, gloomy, melancholy, humor, intolerable, hypochondrial derangement of the disposition, with the disorder of several of the vital operations, the digestion and the sleep, etc., appear, which again and just suddenly give place to habitual moderate ill health, and so also several and very various alternating states. So this is a kind of mental alternating disease on the mental sphere, where a normal indisposition was there, a normal indisposition, feeling immediately a feeling very normal. Okay, now this was replaced by apparent increase of health, means a feeling of very normal, apparent increase of health, unusual exaltation, happy, this and that, and this was replaced by melancholy and depression, and again this was replaced by normal ill health. Patient is at ill health, patient is moderately ill health. Now this is being replaced by unusually good health, exaltation, happier. Now this was replaced by gloomy and depression, and again moderate health was coming. Okay, there is a medicine, feeling unusually well before the attack. What is the medicine? You can write in the chat box. As I am unable to hear you, I am using this microphone for better sound quality, so you can write in the chat box. What is the medicine which is feeling unusually well before the attack? Sorinum, yes, sorinum. So here, a moderate health, unusually very good health, unusually feeling very good, and now unusually feeling very bad, and now again the moderate ill health. This is threefold, an example of threefold alternating disease. When a new states make its appearance, there is often no perceptible trace of the former one. Now this is the a bit elaborating of alternating disease. Okay, in other cases only slight traces of the former alternating state may remain when the now new one occurs. Few of the symptoms of the first state remain on the appearance and during the continuance of the second. Sometimes the morbid alternating states are quite opposite nature, as for instance melancholy periodically alternating with gay, insanity or frenzy. Okay, now these alternating diseases should not be confused with alternating actions. In alternating actions there was exactly opposite relation of the symptom was there. Okay, now every alternating action can be said to have be of alternating diseases. Okay, first difference between alternating action and alternating disease is the alternating action is actually the action of medicine, and it is the primary action of medicine. Okay, where the two states of morbid character alternating with each other, having exactly opposite reaction between them. Okay, first, if gay was there, the melancholy will be coming. If the pain is there, no pain will be coming. Exactly opposite relation will be there. This is alternating action. Okay, action of medicine, primary action of medicine. Now alternating disease is a disease of chronic character, where two morbid phenomena is alternating with each other. This is not necessary to have exactly opposite relation between two morbid character, but there may be alternating diseases which is having exactly opposite relation. Okay, so all alkalis are base, but all bases are not alkali. You can say that way, in that way. Okay, all alternating actions, you may call it alternating disease, but means if it is producing, means if it is coming in drug proving the kind of artificial disease, the drug is proving, and you are getting you will cure with your medicine these alternating diseases, alternating actions, means medicines having alternating action will cure these kind of alternating diseases having exactly opposite relation between them. So now that product of soda and sometime say complicated with syphilitic miasm. Coming back to the aphorism, therefore in the former case may be cured by antiseptic medicine, underline. In the later, however, in alternation with antisyphilitic, underline, as taught in my work chronic diseases. Okay, underline this. Now the alternating intermittent diseases have been discussed in 230, and there it has been divided that typical intermittent diseases having certain time period of their recurring at certain time period. Same phenomena is recurring at certain time period, like migraine recurring at every second day, migraine recurring every 8th day, sanguinaria, migraine repairing every week, sulfur, like this. There are medicines, same phenomena is recurring at certain interval. This is what? This is intermittent diseases. Okay, same phenomena, I am repeating again, same phenomena repeating at certain interval, this is intermittent diseases. Now these intermittent diseases may be of febrile kind or afebrile kind. Okay, in febrile, fever is recurring at certain interval. Okay, now afebrile kind, headache is recurring at certain interval. Or now alternating disease, two different kind of alternating, two different kind of morbid actions, morbid pathologies, are morbid phenomena are recurring at uncertain. Okay, the main difference is time period is not fixed. Now this is called, these later are called alternating, that have been discussed in 231, and their treatment has been discussed along with. Okay, now 233 onward. 233, the typical intermittent diseases, okay, are those where morbid state of unvarying character returns at tolerably fixed period, underline fixed period, while the patient is apparently in good health, and takes its departure at an equally fixed period, underline this. Takes its departure at equally fixed period, underline this. Unvarying character, underline. Fixed period, underline this. Okay, this is observed in those apparently non-febrile morbid states that may come and go in periodic manner. Okay, there are certain drugs which are actually having intermittency. Okay, typical, they are being prescribed on typical intermittent character of that. You remember a case of Cedron I have shared with you. The neuralgia was typically intermittent, at fixed period it was coming. A facial neuralgia I have shared in group, a Cedron, case of Cedron, facial neuralgia with ciliary myalgia and watering from the eye. The person was suffering at tolerably fixed period, the pain was coming and Cedron was prescribed. So there are certain drug in our character. Number one was Cedron, other is arsenic, lachesis. Okay, periodic affections, lachesis, arsenic. In arsenic, periodic febrile affections you will get. Yes, every year repeating, lachesis. Every year the same thing is repeating. Okay, So these are the thing on which you can prescribe. So Cedron was prescribed on this basis only. The neuralgia, myalgia, ciliary neuralgia and facial myalgia was actually recurring at fixed period. Now, this is observed in those apparently non-febrile morbid state that comes and go in a periodical manner at certain time, as well as those of the febrile character, underline febrile, non-febrile, underline non-febrile, underline febrile. Okay, to wit, the numerous varieties of intermittent fevers. Now 234. Now here the typical intermittent diseases have been, those alternating diseases was atypical. Now intermittent diseases. Now typical intermittent diseases have been classified again to febrile and non-febrile. Febrile is a bit small. So according to the pattern of Organon of medicine, Hahnemann will discuss those which are taking less space. Okay, those which are taking less space of febrile. Of febrile is a small one and will take a less space. Then Hahnemann have discussed that before. In 234, those apparently non-febrile, typical periodical recurring morbid state, just alluded to observe in one single patient at a time. They do not usually appear sporadically or epidemically. Okay, they do not, non-febrile. Febrile affection may be sporadical or epidemical, but this non-febrile, they do not appear sporadically or epidemically, always belong to the chronic disease. Non-febrile underline, do not usually appear sporadically, epidemically. This was a question in some MCQ examination. Do not usually appear sporadically and epidemically, always belong to chronic diseases. Underline this. This was the question, that which one of the following statement is true regarding typical non-febrile or intermittent diseases. Okay, so this was one of the option. Do not usually appear sporadically or epidemically, always belong to chronic disease, mostly to those that purely psoric but seldom complicated with syphilic. Underline this. Purely psoric, seldom complicated with syphilis, and are successfully treated by same manner, yet it's sometimes necessary to imply an intermediate remedy. Underline this. Intermittent remedy, intercurrent remedy. The concept of intermittent remedy, intercurrent remedy, is not new to homeopathy. People always, those who are ignorant of typical kind of Kenshian's homeopath, usually Kenshian homeopath don't believe in intercurrent remedy. Okay, and they laugh over when you say that I have to work on the block removing, I have to work on removal of block, and they will laugh that there is no block like that. Haha, there is no block like that. Those which are their concept is that the present totality is a picture on which you have to prescribe, and whether it is intercurrent remedy or whether you are giving your constitutional medicine or totality medicine on basis of totality, that doesn't matter, that will take care of that. But this intercurrent, those who are more Hahnemannian, and you will get many Kenshian homeopaths who are more Kenshian than Kent himself. Okay, so then they don't believe in intercurrent remedy, and they will laugh about your thinking of block removal, about your discussion of block removal. Okay, they will laugh out of their ignorance. They are totally, though they are also becoming less and less, those who are following Kent. They are now you will get many pseudo Kenshians who are not following Kent at all, but there are Kenshian homeopaths who are more Kenshian than Kent himself. Okay, so there is a concept of intercurrent remedy in Stuart Close. Here intermediate remedy is nothing but intercurrent remedy. Why you have to prescribe intermediate remedy? To break that intermittency of your intermittent disease. Now first read, then we will read from Stuart Close. Now read here, intermediate remedy. Underline this: a small dose of potentized solution of cinchona bark in order to extinguish completely their intermittent type. Why they have prescribing cinchona bark? To tackle, to block, to remove the block of intermittency. Now there is cinchona bark, application of cinchona bark is here. Now that cinchona was the intermittency. Cinchona was a remedy known to Hahnemann due to its intermittency, strong intermittent character. But now we know cedron is more of intermittent character than that of cinchona. So instead of cinchona, you can use cedron. Here the 7th edition of Organon will come, where we are observing Organon of medicine in the light of modern discoveries we are sitting upon. Okay, so cedron is a discovery of it is a medicine we have discovered to have more intermittent character than cinchona. Why not prescribe cedron instead of cinchona? Okay, so बोलते ना, you are not modifying the Organon. There are very less instances where Organon needs to modify. One of such instance is here. Organon will be modified in two ways. First, in the light of modern scientific discoveries, okay, in the light of modern scientific and medical discoveries. Next, in the light of modern homeopathic discoveries we are sitting upon. Like in artificial disease, Hahnemann is telling is incurable, almost incurable. But in the light of modern discoveries, we can say that yes, we can cure artificial diseases, which we can help artificial diseases with medicines. Okay, like tautopathy. Okay, we are giving the medicine to neutralize those assaults, those side effects of allopathic medicines. Okay, so here we are using our new discovery of homeopathic medicine, of homeopathic science. Okay, plus the discovery, new medical discoveries. Okay, so Organon can be modified. So one modification here you can add, instead of cinchona, go for cedron if you want to break through the intermittency of intermittent disease. Clear? Now intermediate remedy, cinchona is being used at intermediate remedy. Now go to posology of chapter posology of Stuart Close. Page number 210. Sorry, 202. 202. Bijan publication. I have this book. Page number 202. Intercurrents. Okay. Intercurrents. So this is actually Kentian homeopaths are not ready to accept. Now remedies used in this way, in which way? Hahnemann has recommended, first paragraph, go to first paragraph. Hahnemann has recommended in such cases the administration of opium in one of the lowest potency every 8 or 12 hours until some signs of selections are perceptible. Reactions are perceptible. By this time, he says, susceptibility is increased and the new symptoms of disease are about to light. Carbovage, lauraceus, sulfur and thuja are those remedies suited to such conditions along with opium. They sometimes serve to arouse the organism to reaction of the indicated remedies will act, and indicated remedies will act. When you are intercurrent, when you are using intercurrent remedy, when your medicines are not acting, when your similimum are not acting. So it is not acting maybe due to low susceptibility, where you have to think of opium, lauraceus and carbovage. Go to opium chapter of Allen's keynote and you will say lack of reaction to the remedy, in bracket you will get carbovage and lauraceus also. And there are when you are using sulfur, when indicated remedy fails to act because of the blockage of sora, when indicated remedy fails to act because of the blockage of psychosis, use thuja. Okay, when indicated remedy is failing to act due to syphilis, use mercurius, like that. So next paragraph, remedies used in this way are known as intercurrents. or intermediate remedy of Hahnemann. The nosodes sorinum, syphilinum, medorinum, tuberculinum are also to be remembered in these conditions in cases where the latent disease represented by these medicines are present, as shown by the existing symptom or by the history and previous symptoms of the case. A single dose of appropriate nosode in moderately high potency will sometimes clear up a case by bringing the symptoms into view, which will make it possible to select the remedy required to carry on the case successfully. Such uses of these remedies must be based upon careful examination and study of history of the case and not merely on empirical assumption. Here as elsewhere, individualization and law of similia must be the guide. Okay, practically you can ignore these two last line, the individualization. You can give your nosodes. This is not for your viva table, neither for your examination. Okay, you can give your nosodes empirically. If your medicines is not acting and you are supposing that there is a history of tuberculosis in the background, in the past history, you can think of tuberculinum. If you are able to see the psychosis, latent psychosis process behind the disease and your medicine is not acting, you can give your medorinum. You can give your sorinum as well. Depending upon the latent disease process, you are able to distinguish from the present phenomena. So these are medicine used in this way are called intercurrent remedies. Now these intercurrent medicine are being used on basis of susceptibility, on basis of chronic miasm. You can use the intercurrent remedies on the basis of acute miasm as well. Like you got a case of the patient has suffered from what are acute miasms? Those chickenpox, measles, okay, those typhoid. Patient has suffered at some stage of life a severe typhoid. There you can think of typhoidinum, the nosode of that acute miasm. Okay, you can think of patient has suffered from mumps, severe bilateral mumps or severe mumps, and you can think of parotidinum, okay, as an intercurrent medicine. Clear? Now, so till now we have studied use of intercurrent medicine to raise the susceptibility, to remove the chronic miasmatic block, to remove the acute miasmatic block, to destroy the intermittency type, and fourth I will like to add is to destroy, to block any emotional block, to remove any emotional block. Okay, like for grief, ignitia, for anger and insult, staphysagria. Okay, for grief, this is ignitia, for anger and insult, staphysagria, and for revenge for feeling which the patient is cultivating for long, you can prescribe acid nitric, okay, to break through these blockage. Actually, this is my theory, no one will tell you. This is actually still in the theory process. In my clinic, I have been able to successfully treat these kind of cases where there is a history of grief, and I prescribed ignitia in intercurrent manner to just overcome this grief. And this is my theory that there must be some neurochemicals which is depositing in the brain, depending upon the emotional state of the mind. In grief, there must be some neurochemicals which is depositing on the brain or different parts of body. In insult feeling or in anger feeling, resentful feeling, there are different neurochemicals which are depositing and hampering the normal physiological actions, causing abnormal physiological phenomena, that is diseases. So removal, so these drainage of these neurochemicals will help the patient to live up to their optimal life conditions. Okay, so I am prescribing ignitia depending upon these theories. I am prescribing staph, I am prescribing acid nitric till now. The revengeful feeling the patient is cultivating for so long, okay, and this is causing certain neurochemical to be deposited in different parts of the brain, different parts of the bodies, and that is causing hampering to the normal physiological phenomena, causing abnormal physiological phenomena. So depending upon these theory, you can use your intercurrent remedies. Okay, so these medicines may be used as a main remedy also. that ignitia, there is a history of grief, and ignitia is indicated by the present totality also. So why you will not prescribe ignitia? But there is a present totality of different nature, and there is a grief in the background, and present totality indicating something else. Before going to that present phenomena, you have to remove ignitia before you have to remove this grief phenomena before you are able to treat this present phenomena. So give a 1 or 2 doses of ignitia 1M before starting with the present totality. That is a sort of intercurrent prescriptions. Okay, so we have learned 3 or 4 kinds of intercurrent prescriptions here. These are very useful in clinic, and Kenshin will not be very happy. Kenshin's homeopath will not be very happy with these kind of intercurrent remedies, but these are very helpful for clinic, as our all discussions are on practical approach in our clinic. So we have discussed this intercurrent remedy. Now 234 we have discussed the cinchona bark and cedron. Now 235, from 235 onwards, intermittent fevers have been discussed. These intermittent fever have been discussed up to 244. Okay, so we have almost 15 minutes left. We will try and complete as much as intermittent fever we are able to complete. Now there are different types of alternating intermittent fevers. With regard to intermittent fevers, there is a whole a big this footnote is there. Read it by yourself. Now second last line of this footnote, you will get chronic bark dyscrasia. Underline this, chronic bark dyscrasia. This is often the question in your MCQ examination. This is often the question in your MCQ examination. Chronic bark dyscrasia. Now one more thing, this chronic, what is this chronic bark dyscrasia? Nothing but artificial diseases. Artificial disease. One more thing I will like to add here. At one more place, that is for your MCQ, at one more place Hanuman is discussing the chronic bark dyscrasia. At one more place, I'm not okay, that is to 6th edition, footnote to 6th edition, 276, chronic China malady. Chronic China malady. Okay, underline this, footnote to 276, footnote to 276, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, ninth line, chronic China malady. A homeopathic antidote for such a misfortune produced by abuse of large doses of homeopathic remedy is hardly conceivable. But now we know that we can antidote these kind of artificial diseases which are medicine, tautopathic medicines. So there is a progress in treatment of artificial diseases since the times of Hahnemann. Chronic China malady. Two kind of artificial diseases have been discussed by Hahnemann in his Organon of Medicine. One was the mercurial diseases, the masked venereal diseases. What was masked venereal diseases? Mercurial diseases complicated with sora and syphilis. Now chronic China malady is also a kind of artificial diseases and seldom complicate with sora also. There is complication of coupled at the same time with developed sora. Chronic China malady. So chronic bark dyscrasia, these kind of bark disease, artificial disease, these are nothing but artificial diseases and can be treated with our can be treated tautopathically. Okay, so 276 footnote, artificial disease. Now this is important for your MCQ purpose. Here chronic China malady and chronic bark dyscrasia, that is the abuse of quinine. Okay, let me know some medicines of abuse of quinine. Bad effect of quinine. Chloroquine itself. Okay, chloroquine itself. Again, any other medicine? Ipecac. Okay, any other medicine? Natramur is one of the medicine. One of the totality we take for natramur in consideration is the history of abuse of quinine. Okay, China itself, natramur, ipecac, and for the modern days chloroquine is available in potentized form. Okay, you will see a case of lady. You will see that abuse of chloroquine, how they are abusing chloroquine. They are not only giving in intermittent fevers like malaria. Okay, this malaria is, they have chloroquine have been specific for malaria and patients are getting treated with malaria, but this chloroquine have been abused during COVID times. They were giving as DMDs, disease modifying drugs, DMDs, as they are using DMDs, and chloroquine. This chloroquine was also used during COVID time. They use this chloroquine as the supportive medicine. What I will say that these COVID time allopathic medicine was just showing up its medieval phase. Okay, was showing its medieval phase. If you have observed very minutely, you will see that every other day the recommendation of medicines was changing, like kaleidoscopic, what Hahnemann have told, that using amoxicillin, and they found that no, amoxicillin is having no effect on virus. So amoxicillin having effect on virus along with chloroquine, so they added chloroquine. Then they found that no, chloroquine is not working or is producing some other phenomena, so discarded chloroquine and go for amoxicillin with the preventive thought that it will prevent some bacterial infections, so many things. So this chloroquine abuse was there during COVID time, and it is being abused as DMDs, drug modifier, disease modifier drugs in some kind of autoimmune diseases. There was a lady, one of my patients, suffering from the redness of the ball of the toe, and there was nothing wrong with the pathology, nothing wrong with the report. All the reports have been done, all the X-ray and whatever may be done for that redness of that ball, uric acid and other antibodies test for this SLE or all these phenomena have been tested, and there was nothing. Still there was an element of autoimmune disease. She left me and goes to treatment with one of the allopathic friend practicing nearby, and he prescribed him her Syncona. Okay, this chloroquine. 400 chloroquine taking once a day or twice a day like that for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and that was gone. That was totally gone. That redness of the great toe, ball of the great toe was totally gone. Now the patient returns to me and told me that I have Dr. So and so have treated my this great toe. Now I'm suffering from this type of gastralgia, or these are the symptoms. Okay, and that was the symptoms of China, and I prescribed China in patentized form, and that was also gone. Okay, so these are the kind of artificial diseases. Actually, I prescribed China or Chinimum sulf, I don't remember exactly. So these are the kind of artificial diseases you will meet in your practice and you have to treat, and these are not Hahnemann have declared these are incurable, but nowadays these are very much curable if you know your materia medica well. So I hope I think we have to stop here. We will discuss this intermittent, we have discussed chronic Bark dyscrasia and chronic China malady 276 and 235. These are the question in your MCQ. Now from 235 onward, we will discuss from next class onward the intermittent fevers. Okay, I think we have discussed intermittent fever in some initial classes also. So we will meet in on next Sunday and discuss intermittent fever. Until now, take a very good care of yours. Before that, please ask if you have any question. You can ask. You can write here in the chat box. You can write in the WhatsApp. Those who are following the recordings, you can ask in the WhatsApp, or you can ping me in WhatsApp in personally or in group. Okay, so thank you for giving your attention. Thank you. Take a very good care of yourself and study Organon.